Are auto recorded only by Montana Legislature House Bill 890. We'll go ahead and start the regular meeting, call to order, and I'm going to go ahead and do submissions of minutes. Anybody have a chance to take a look at the minutes?
Motion to approve.
Second, to approve the minutes as written for March and April.
March and April. Thank you very much. So a motion has been made and seconded for the approval of submission of the minutes for March and April of 2026. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion has carried for the submission of minutes for March and April of 2026. We'll move on to submission of financial statement. Take a look at those.
Yes, I'll make the motion to approve the financials for March and April 26 as written.
I will also second it.
Okay. It has been motion for approve, first seconded for the submission of March and April financial statements of 2026. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion has passed for submission of financial statements for March and April 2026. We will look at submission of the bills. You'll see the secretaries and Mr. Mandeville's in your packets.
Motion to take all bills.
Yes, I would second that motion to pay the invoice 1430.
Okay. And also the secretaries as well, Clark.
Oh, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, motion has been made and seconded for approval of submission of bills, which will be invoice number 1430, which is Mr. Mandeville's and the secretaries. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion has been passed to pay the bills for invoice number 1430, Mr. Mandeville's and the secretaries. 2026. Alrighty. We will move on to old business, which is County Commissioners appointed member update, which I see that they have it advertised.
Yeah, for a vacancy?
Yeah,
yes.
for a vacancy. Any other? Okay. So then we'll just move on to new business. New business, we have the county growth policy update. Carla, do you have any update on how that's coming
I
along?
didn't bring my book or my phone to even have a look. Oh, the county.
Uh-huh.
Yes, in City County. Yes, we met last Monday and kind of reviewed the information that we had collected from Crow, Botchgrass, and Hardin.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have a full board, so they're going to put it all together and submit it at our July meeting. So yeah, we're about done with that.
So how does that fit the policy? We're talking about the policy for growth.
The county growth policy. So what come up is that the county was behind on updating their growth policy. So the state had them go ahead and had asked the county to go ahead and update their growth policy. I think it was like October.
We started in the fall and we're nearly done.
So are we looking at the growth or the policy?
We've looked at everything.
I'm just having a hard time separating the numbers of growth from the policy.
Oh, I think that's just what it's called.
The growth policy, kind of like the city did their growth policy updating on, you know, where they might expand and that type of stuff.
For the needs, the community needs, housing, safety, things like that. It's just a term.
The policy usually refers to activities that people should conform to fit within the sphere.
Yeah, they're telling people they gotta move to the county.
So I'm just kind of sorting out, looks like it's kind of an umbrella statement.
It's very similar to the city policy as well. Have you seen the one that was in the binder? Kind of the same thing. Try to set some goals,
Okay.
you know, to meet, or some, you know, housing recommendations, or just things like that.
So that's what pushed me back to the first question, collecting up numbers of who's at Crow and who's in Hardin and who's wherever.
Well,
How does
it's,
that fit into the policy?
it
That's
is,
really
it's the
question.
population within Bighorn County.
To me, they're two different things, that's why
Yeah, and since we're the city county planning board, and we have members of the county that sit on the board, and then we have members of the city, that's why we go back over the city's growth policy and make sure the county, because they have to be updated with state regulations, to be updated with that type of stuff, which us as a city county planning board, I believe, Mr. Mandeville, we will have to end up updating our growth policy as well for our board
Yes.
as next, because the city fell off of ours and kind of updated, rolled off of what the city county planning board did the first time, is the understanding I had. And what they did is they went back through things, and then they went ahead and updated different things on theirs. And then the county needed to update theirs. And so they went ahead and started in, and they met in Crow was your first meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys went to Lodge Grass. And then they had their other one here in Hardin at the senior center here in Hardin. And people got to go in, and they had boards. I can give you this here if you want. Yeah, so, and it just, what the growth policy means. This is what I took when I went to the one in Hardin. And that's kind of what it is. And Staley Engineering helped out with the boards and stuff like that, because they work both with city and county.
Yep.
Is Staley drafting the county growth policy?
It is. They are.
They do good work.
They do. They were very helpful.
So any other questions, comments, concerns regarding?
Not yet, not till, I'll in July,
In
should
July,
we have a
for
meeting,
sure, yeah.
I'll share some more detailed information once we get that far.
Okay.
Well, and I don't want to stumble over this anymore, but it just says here that a growth policy is a community growth development plan. Plans and policies are kind of living in different worlds for me. I'm done.
Okay. We'll move on to the Zoom virtual meeting. So did everybody get a chance to look? Melissa sent that out to everybody.
Yeah, but what's the deal with that? I mean, how could that be breaking the city to have Zoom set up for any of the current meetings and stuff? I don't get that.
It wasn't that expensive for them.
It's not.
It's not, I
They just
know.
didn't want it, so.
Because they were
Yeah.
talking about gas and dogs. and
Right,
it's
well,
viral.
yeah.
And
they-
that's why, yeah.
I know, but I want to hear it out loud.
We have it in our budget to do it. Now, Zoom is 30 minutes free. So, I mean, and that's really gonna cut down on our costs for Mr. Mandeville. We can.
Right?
So, we can kill two birds with one stone, not buying Zoom and only having 30 minutes for him.
Well, I just think that, you know, it's kind of a way to be transparent and share all of the meetings and things,
Exactly.
counties, whatever, and I'm just kind of disappointed in that, so
Yeah.
just sharing my info.
Go ahead. Cody, you can go ahead and step on up.
Thank you. My name is Cody Meeks. Just a public comment on the Zoom meetings. It's 2026. I think it's a big step backwards to get rid of Zoom meetings. It's almost, and it's embarrassing to get rid of them because the council can't watch what they're talking about. I think it's a step backwards, and it's an embarrassing step backwards.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alyssa, what was the cost? Do you remember?
So I did do a printout on all 4 of them. Yeah, there's different packets. There was, the basic, pro, business, and then the enterprise. Yes. Printed those ones out last night. I was like, better print those out.
Thank you. 'Cause I forgot my
So you're
phone.
telling me, so according to this, the pro is 30 minutes for $14 a month, and the free is 40 minutes.
And then,
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy.
But
So
if-
we have yet to have a meeting that's over 40 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
Would it be nice to have, participants, 100? And we have yet to reach 100 participants.
Yeah.
But if
Can we
the city
record?
has Microsoft, they also have membership to Teams.
Yeah, we can do like Google Meet.
So why can't
whatever.
they have Teams for free if they have a Microsoft license?
Unfortunately, that's not our battle.
Yeah.
Our conversation here is whether or not we need to have Zoom in our meetings or not.
And I believe Mr. Mandeville was also going to visit with us a little bit
Yeah,
about.
I have Teams. I use Teams a lot. I think it's pretty user friendly. Zoom's also a good option. I've also used GoToMeeting a lot. I know some planning boards and commissions that like to use that. So there's several options. It can make it easier to record meetings as well, because those all have a record your meeting option and
Right.
save it for you. Sometimes it can be hard to find all the storage, and we don't have an AI data center. That's a dirty word.
You did it on
New business
purpose.
next month.
But yeah, there's several options. I don't think any of them are bad. I'm not sure one's superior to another necessarily. But you do have price is basically the main thing.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I looked at these.
So,
But I think,
as a board, what would you guys like to do? No suggestions?
I have a comment.
Go ahead.
And I think that we would like to have you included when we, need some information from a distance, and there's no reason for you to drive, you can participate. But not only that, we're going to be coming into our own growth policy information, and the people that we will be working with probably be out of Billings and other places, and if we need to have a meeting to just have a chat about some things, they come in person, but you get a few meetings in the middle where they don't need to charge the travel and all the things, and you can have quick meetings. So I think it's just part of business these days. So I think we do need to have something.
It's a good option to have.
Zoom's not a budget breaker, is it?
No.
$20 a month.
Do you want to show these to Dan?
That was an issue.
So, as a board, you guys want to go basic, which is the free one. You got pro, which is the $14.60 a month. That's 30.
What's the time limit on
The basic one is 40 minutes, free. The pro is, you get 30 hours per
What was
meeting.
that, 30 hours?
Yeah,
Dang it.
yeah, 30 hours. I'll even look at that,
You're
for
gonna have
sure.
to.
And the business is $18.33 a month, and that one there,
30 hours. Man, that's a long meeting.
that's
Long meeting.
printed over.
Well, we meet once a month.
Yeah.
It's an open forum.
Meeting duration, 30 hours, yeah,
That would
up to
maybe be the
100.
best
And then
price.
all of the rest of them are up to how many people can get on there.
The 30 hours might be good by, but it's probably overkill if we only meet for an hour.
Yeah, we don't
Enterprise
need that
it-
much,
it
but
went over on the enterprise.
For $14 a month.
Yeah.
you could let the council borrow it.
There you go.
You can charge them $20.
Uh,
They break their budget.
I moved to purchase Zoom Pro. which is 14 something a
14,
month,
16 a month.
and 300 hours worth of meeting time.
I would second that motion.
I will say in comment that it's only a matter of time. Right now, the state of Montana requires these meetings to be audio recorded. It's only a matter of the next legislative session that it's going to require that
Yeah.
it be
Video.
video recorded.
Yep.
And the county's already doing
Yeah.
that, which is really nice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a real good resource if there's questions that need to be asked about something in the past.
So a motion has been made
And seconded.
and seconded for the Zoom Pro, $14.60 a month, the 300-hour meeting minutes.
14, 16.
$14.16?
Yes.
Thank you, excuse me, we'll change that to $14.16 per month for the Zoom virtual meeting.
I mean,
Oh.
especially in Montana where we have rain, snow up until June.
Yeah.
So those all in favor, say
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? So it has been passed for the Zoom virtual meeting for the 14-16 Zoom Pro for the 300-hour meeting minutes. So good, we'll get up online and we'll go ahead and, Melissa, if you'll go ahead and get Drew, I think you have all the rest of the information. We'll get that set up if they have to take that out of the account or what needs to be done with that there, and then we'll just show that rolling over on another paper so everybody can see that. We'll move on to the assembly meetings with no applications for review. What's that one?
That's a request by Bill. That was requested by Bill to add for
Maybe.
no applications. He wanted to ask if the board was comfortable with just
Yeah, you can turn speaking to them.
Oh,
You're good.
sorry. Bill was just asking if the board would like to continue meetings without any applications.
So in other words, if there's nothing up on the agenda, you guys just not have the meeting, cancel the meeting, and not have it, or do you guys want to meet and go on? Go ahead, Cody.
Thank you, sorry for
Oh, he
interrupting.
was thinking
Okay.
that this was about him.
I just got a public comment on this. I wasn't able to get on the agenda because the city council, there's only 2 dispensaries allowed. I'm trying to get a 3rd one. I was trying to get on the agenda, but I wasn't able to because there's not an opening, I guess. Not sure if I'm making any sense here. I guess I'd like to request to get on the next agenda. I wasn't able to get on this one because there was no open application space for another dispensary. I'd just like to present to you guys why I think that might be a good idea.
Is it a variance?
It is a variance.
So there's a whole process for a variance,
Yes.
and it's not?
It's not a variance.
No.
Okay.
No.
What is it? Nothing?
It's city codes.
City code, yeah, so the city code right now allows 2 dispensaries within city limits plus a mile. And I know Mr. Meeks has requested that a couple of times that the council expand that, make that more permissive to allow at least 3. They have so far not moved forward with that. So his request would be not allowed under code. You can't grant a variance to allow something that's not allowed. So it would need to be an amendment to the zoning code, to the city ordinances itself in order to allow it.
What my meeting here would do is I would be asking for your guys' recommendation to the city council to support the cannabis ordinance changes. If I could get on the agenda and present that to you guys.
How many times can the council hear this? I mean, last time they said no. So, I mean, is that a done deal? Can we come back and review it this route?
I spoke to the council about that, and because they never drafted an actual ordinance, they didn't actually say no to any of the recommended changes or all of it. They just said no in committee.
Oh, okay.
Well, it passed committee, got to the council, but they just said no, but they never drafted an ordinance, so they really just said no, but didn't say no to any specific thing. So talking to the city, they told me I could submit really any changes all over again because nothing was specifically denied. So that's my understanding.
Because there at the end, they had even, the lawyer had said, we will draft. And I thought they left it at that, but apparently the council must have said no, leave it as it is.
Yeah, I thought the lawyer explained to them, if we draft this and then you say no, then
Yeah.
you're kicking out all of these changes to the ordinance. But because they never got to that step, it was explained to me that I'm able to submit any changes again because, yeah, nothing was specifically denied.
So are you planning on, you would like to be on the agenda for our next City County Planning Board meeting?
Yes.
And then are you going to be redrafting back with the city council then and get back on theirs for the draft?
If it goes well here and we have the City County Planning Board's recommendation, then yes, probably. If both committees right now are saying no, then probably not.
And Mr. Mandeville, with you working with state statutes and all the different things and helping us with all of the coding and stuff, how will this work?
So there's nothing that says you can't consider any changes. We just went through an update to the zoning regulations. I know this came up then. It was not determined at that time to add a third dispensary. Council's also decided not to move forward with that. It doesn't mean you can't continue to consider that and look at that. It's really up to you all. If you would like to put something on an agenda based on public comment, you absolutely can do that. You're not required to, but it's completely your prerogative.
I have a question I really need to explain to me in layman's terms. I don't understand how it's not a variance.
Sure.
Because,
yeah. So a variance is allowing someone to not meet the letter of a requirement, so a design requirement essentially. So where we see variances typically are setbacks, height allowances, those are variances. That would be differentiated from a zone change where if you want, so you want to be able to build a commercial business in your lot zone residential, then you would need to request a zone change. So that wouldn't be a variance, that would be a separate zone change process.
so he would need to do a zone change.
So what he needs is a zone text change. So right now, the zoning says you can only do 2 dispensaries. Black and white, no way around it. Unless the ordinance were to change to allow 3, 4, 5, a different number of dispensaries. So that takes an actual change to the zoning text. So you have to open that up and change the zoning ordinance itself. There's also conditional use permits, which are outlined in the zoning ordinance as these are allowed potentially in different zones if they go through a conditional use permitting process. So those are kind of all the different things you'll see: variances, zone changes, text changes, or conditional use permits. They're mostly all the same process, pretty similar, but just kind of the planning nerd in me likes to really differentiate that.
There you go. Thanks.
A couple comments on that. One, there is one variance that I tried to explain to City Council, and they didn't really have much to say about it, but it was Mr. Vandersloot that had me look into it. the city code, the cannabis ordinance states 2 within a mile past city limits. 312, according to my mapping, the actual dispensary is past the mile, but the property it's on is within the mile. And it doesn't clearly state that in the city code. Is it the land or is it the actual dispensary? So I believe that's a variance that I wasn't able to get anybody to look into, but Mr. Vandersloot was in agreement with me on that one. And a couple things why I'm so adamant about this is there's only 2 dispensaries in all of Bighorn County. There is no dispensary within Hardin city limits. Because there's only 2 in Bighorn County, there's not another one to the Wyoming border. I've been in this industry a long time. These dispensaries are serving the community, but they're also serving the tourists coming into the state. Because these are the first dispensaries they see along the highway coming into the state, it's like it's a destination. It's a stop people want to go to, even if they're not heavy users. It's something they want to come and check out. And both dispensaries that are outside city limits both have gravel driveways, both don't have running water, or that one doesn't have running water. This one shares the restroom with the pawn shop, the dispensary. It's where the tenants shower and do their dishes. It's extremely unprofessional, and I believe it's a completely disservice to not only our community, but the people coming from out of state that are stopping in Hardin. It'll create jobs, and it brings in taxes to the state. These places have become so rough that the community would rather go shop in Billings. There's better deals, cheaper prices, more selection, nice stores to go into. And we're losing tax money, we're losing jobs, and it's a bad look for someone stopping into Hardin for the first time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Did you look into that thing that I shared with you?
Not enough. I'm still
Yeah, look
digging
into
it.
that.
I will.
That's coming up in November for a vote here.
Nice.
So check into that, but that's a change of the different powers that the city would be looking at if they were to change. So look into that.
I definitely will.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
I would not like to meet if there are no applications for it.
So I will note, Madam Chair, I believe statute requires quarterly meetings at the very least. So, usually you don't run into that, but there is a statutory requirement for at least quarterly meetings.
Or let's just say like we're working on our growth policy stuff.
Okay. So assembly
But
meetings?
otherwise, yeah, you don't have to meet. There's no application.
No applications. Okay.
Can I be on the next agenda?
So all those in favor, motions for,
Well, yeah, I guess I would like to
assembly
meet at a
meeting with
minimum
no-
quarterly, but I would not like to meet if there are no applications for it.
second on any of that?
Oh, second.
Okay, we got a first and a second.
I'm thinking about it.
For, on the assembly meetings with no applications for review. So if there's no applications, that we will not have no meetings, only if we do have applications that are up to do at that time. Then we will go ahead and meet. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion has passed for assembly meetings with no applications, that we will not have no meetings, and when we have applications, then we will go ahead and we will assemble the city county common board meeting here at the chambers.
That having been passed, does it need to be posted somewhere where others are aware of it?
Yes, Alyssa does post, when we cancel and there's no agenda, nothing that's going on, she does post those up in the different areas as well. So that posting does go to the city, here at the city, up at the courthouse, and at the post office. So we do post at the 3 places.
And just thinking if we're striking out a rule here, we should let others know.
Yes, and usually she does email, and it does go to an email to all of us that a meeting has been, no meeting.
And there are sometimes people who come who are not in tune with what we get.
Okay,
I'll also note that you do have an application for next month.
yes, I've seen that one.
So you'll be on.
Can I be on the next agenda?
Yeah, you can go ahead and
Yeah.
put on for the next agenda, and we'll put you on for the next agenda.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
And so as Mr. Mandeville had stated that, do you want to do your, the agenda for, do you just want a public hearing to be heard, or are you going to do a public hearing for a Zoom text change?
Text change.
Okay, application? Okay.
So, Madam Chair, would you like me to draft a public hearing notice for a zone text change so it can be noticed for your next meeting?
Yes, if you would, please.
Sure.
Thank you, Mr.
can do that.
Mandeville.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let them know there'll be a Zoom link too.
Yes. Yes, we will have a Zoom link.
Highlight that.
Alrighty, so got both of those on that there. So, and the city, Drew was going to be here with Alex, and they no shows, so we'll just go ahead and.
What was their,
I have no clue.
I don't know what they were going to visit about or anything of that sort. If I had to guess, I know those two have been working on the funding, and they've been doing the different stages over there for the new chamber. So I know that's what they have been working on. They work on a lot of stuff, but that's the one thing that they've been talking a lot about at the city council meetings, is the stages that they're going through.
Well, and I guess just for people that might not have attended some of the latest meetings, but they had kind of set aside the building and because of the funding and the situation, the water levels, all the things.
oh, you're talking about the visitor center? over
Yeah.
there? Okay, yeah. Yeah, they think a swamp to build on.
So, yeah, so they just really don't have the money to put the building in or any of the things, so they thought maybe they'll start the other way and lay out the
Landscaping, I think that's
landscaping and
good.
some of the driveways and things like that.
Go ahead, Mr. Meeks.
Public comment on that, sorry. I'm here, so.
No, yep,
I'll
you're
join in.
You sure you don't need a board position?
No, thank you. Well, I was at that meeting, and I believe it was, 1.8 million for that grant for the first year. They were expecting to have a building and put up a little museum, and like you said, they decided to put it in a swamp, and it turned in, after all the groundwork, it turned into a concrete walking path with a couple wooden boards, no building at all, no bathroom. I don't know who's in charge of this grant or this spending, but I believe that the city needs to be getting more out of 1.8 million than a walking path. I think that falls well short of the museum that was presented to the people. And I just would like to see things, I guess, better vetted, better inspected, better looked into before we spend all of our grant money and our stuff with no other options but to spend the money so we can try to get next year's money. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we will move on to.
Not necessarily have an announcement or anything like that, but who's our code enforcement officer at this time?
Currently don't have one.
We currently do not have one. Was it not this city council meeting, but not this one that was, but the one prior to that, I had made the comment that they do need to get going on that, and the mayor had stated that they were looking into that. Because I had stopped a year ago because we didn't have any really that was going on. That's when we did not have anybody at all that was doing it. And that all the buildings were going in and stuff, and So I stopped in at the City County Planning Board up in Billings, and I went in and I visited with them a little bit about things and how to go about, you know, Hardin, we don't have one. How can we, if they have any insight for us on that there. So they did give me that either somebody from their office, if Hardin would be interested at that time, and that was a year or 2 years ago, that they would go ahead and possibly that if somebody there at their office, they would come up and work probably for two, 3 times out of the week and do what they can do, paperwork and stuff, just so that we were up kind of floating and having paperwork and all that stuff going in the right direction instead of not having anybody at all. And they also gave me a name and a telephone number of a company out of, I can't remember if it was Bozeman or Butte, but I did give that to Mayor Joe Purcell, and Steve Hopes remembers that as well, and it should be in the documents.
Well, they do have Joe.
Right.
Who is
So
filling-
here's my thing.
Yes.
We were on a gas leak. Or was that on the corner by the stoplight? How long
Yeah.
was that? Month and a half, 2 months ago? A decent gas leak. And we were door knocking, you know, trying to clear people out. And it was like 3 buildings in, I knock on this guy's door, and he goes, "What do you want?" You know, gave me the roundabout thing, and I got to asking questions, and that guy's living in a business. And I just became very concerned about that. And I'm wondering, you know, whatever, live in Hardin, I support that, do your thing, but do it to the letter of the law, right? Because as a board, we are essentially useless if we don't have anybody to enforce our code.
Yes.
And so I just got a little concerned about that situation. And I'm just wondering next steps on this, because it's
Well,
not okay.
And in that kind of a situation too, the fire people should be involved in some of that. The fire chief, I would believe, right? So that should be our safety part of it. Code enforcement, the one that happens with Joe Connolly is a little different situation. That's the guy that's, you know, charging you fees for your roofing and your fence in a different spot. And then we have the police that have been doing code enforcement with animals and other things, parking. So there's quite a gamut of things. I've suggested that the city itself take those employees on instead of putting them over onto the law enforcement side.
Correct.
Law enforcement seems to feel that it's, you know, the bathwater they don't want in their backyard.
So I guess what I'm asking is, because it's a legitimate issue, right? We can't have that. What I'm asking is maybe we start looking into your options that you were presented, and so we can present that to the city council, because we're going on, what, 2 years at this point of no code enforcement. Not only that, think about it, if we would have continued without the rain that we were having, we would have been on water restrictions, right? And who's around to enforce that with no code enforcement? So I'm just kind of thinking bigger picture here. We need to start looking into options.
Well, and they do, that the last meeting, they did also mention that they have a guy that will be is training to take in Joe's, but that is not the same picture of what you just talked about. It's not encompassing all the things. You know, that's a building inspection. What is that? Building codes.
Yeah, building codes would go through the state.
Yeah.
So, if someone's building a new business, they'd have to go through the state to get their electrical permits, building permits, all of that. I have been working with Nathan McConnell a little bit. He's asked me some questions. He's working with Joe, training.
Okay, that's the new guy coming up.
And I don't know what all the plans are that the city has for his.
But again, that's a different.
There's a direct line between a building inspector and a code enforcement officer. Yeah, there's some gray area where they manage, but two different positions in my brain.
Yep,
Yeah.
two different positions and they're in two different places.
Yeah.
Now, I will note, Madam Chair, that this is not a unique conversation. We have this conversation pretty much everywhere I work, and who does code enforcement, who pays for it? Is it a full-time position? Is it a part-time position? Is it complaint-based? Is it proactive? Those are all big conversations, and everyone's having them. So you're not
Is that
wrong.
something we could start breaking down a little bit? I like the, I misunderstand, you know,
Is
a
it
lot of
within our
things.
purview to do that?
Yeah, is it? Is it our purview to take a look?
I'm going to be careful with my answer.
Yeah.
It is.
You can answer after we adjourn.
I never think it's a bad idea to learn more, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to the city council on what they want to fund and how they want to structure it.
Well, I would also like to bring some ideas forward maybe to them. You know, into this, just all the things. There's a few things now that if you don't, you know, you might complain and sign the complaint, and then they'll say, oh, but we need 2 other people, or we need other people. Why, if you have one person complaining, so where does that come from? Is that an ordinance that somebody writes up? Is that law? You know.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's going to come down to the, I mean, if you have an issue, it's a proven issue, someone just doesn't do it, right? So even if you have a code enforcement officer, and they tell someone, hey, you're out of compliance and need to fix it. What are the teeth to make sure that person fixes it? If it's a water issue, if someone's using water when you're in a water restriction, for example, well, you go shut off their water. That's relatively easy to do. If it's something that, you know, I know we've had conversations about just normal beautification type requirements. You know what? Weeds. So if it's noxious weeds, there's a very specific statute for that, where the county weed district can get involved. Junk vehicles have their other own specific statute.
Yes.
And if a vehicle is licensed, it is not a junk vehicle. So there's a lot of
License your vehicles, folks.
There's
I didn't mean to open up can of worms here, but I'm
No,
just,
but
that
it does,
situation.
it's
important.
Yeah. That situation, kind of the way that everything was happening there, I was like, I'm concerned for everybody's safety.
Yeah. Thank you.
The point is, if there's not somebody to enforce code, then might as well just go ahead and forget there is a code.
Yeah, we're wasting our time here, is what I'm saying.
Right. But I think digging into maybe some things about how we could help manage that along, or some things, you know, wouldn't be a bad idea if we can somehow get involved sharing information or just anything.
Red Lodge did that with, like, they had a lot of, the trailer houses, they had problems with when they were way back. And
Blight.
And they went in and they worked with all of that and they got that all cleaned up. So I mean, that would be like all the abandoned trailer houses out that are all that Sunset, the different, I mean, they went in there and they worked on all of that different stuff over there at Red Lodge. And it was amazing.
Madam Chair, I don't know that they use code enforcement for that. I think
Yeah,
they did
there's a resolution.
they got a grant, and
Is that what they did?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, the grant is a short stop or a quick up front term, but, you know, this isn't something that's gonna be today and not tomorrow.
right.
As long as the city's here and they have codes, it's a part of the function totally. And that needs to have a consideration in how the city gets their funds and be mapped out as a cost of doing business.
I just want everybody to follow the rules that we make.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody says, yeah, we will, but when you see what gets done, they didn't.
Yep.
And so unfortunately, you have to have a muscle man out there somewhere and say, wait a minute, you said you would and you didn't, and here's the penalty.
What are you doing tomorrow?
You have a choice, you can do it or not do it, and you pay the consultant.
Yeah. Yeah, anyways, but that's my rant.
Yeah. I think we're all in agreement.
Okay.
So I think from that standpoint, it falls in the city's lap a little bit to look at job slots and funding.
It's open, the thing is, it's open, they're actively looking for somebody, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's doing it. And I can't do it, I got 3 other jobs.
Well, one guy needs to be certified through the state,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other person is, then the other things are different. They could be doing animal control and weeds and parking and, you know. That's how they kind of have it divided up right now.
Yeah.
So any other announcements? The next city council
Yep.
meeting is going to be June 16th. The next city county planning board, which will be us, will be on the 13th.
Of July?
Yep. June 20th is going to be the grand opening celebration at the South Park for the splash pad. And that's going to be from 3 to 5.
That'll be a big event.
Yes. And then Mr. David Blaine, he talked to the city council, and so moving the parks is going to be back up and running, and he got permission for that. So that's where he goes and he sets up the thing and feeds and all the kids and families and stuff, and they get to watch a movie in the evening at the park. So that's going to be back up going again. That's what I have for announcements. Anything else, anybody? No? Okay. Any motions for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. Motion first, second for adjournment. All those in favor?
Aye.
That nature, I bet.
Aye.
Ah.
We are adjourned. Thank you, Cody, for coming in.